Happy Monday to you all. Hopefully you are all doing well. We're trying to go 6 days a week on this channel, so if you guys are enjoying the videos, drop a thumbs up. You guys really liked the Mbappe video last night. That was coming from the heart. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it. I'm very disappointed in him. Today we're going to be doing a reacting video. We're doing one of these a week probably. This one's going to be about a title that caught my eye. It's over for Arsenal by Mark Goldbridge. He is declaring it's over for Arsenal. Now, objectively, they are 9 points out of first place, right, with 25 matches. So it is technically not over for Arsenal. You know, I saw a tweet yesterday that I thought really resonated well with me, that somebody was saying that I would rather be 9 points behind Liverpool than 9 points behind Manchester City. I do understand what he's trying to say, although I don't think Manchester City are Manchester City this year, and I just think Liverpool look nuts. Liverpool, to me, right now, probably my choice to win the league. It's not unpopular. They're going to depend so much on can VVD and Salah stay healthy. That's going to be huge for them. Arsenal's kind of had in and out the lineups, and they've really been struggling to score. I've never been huge on Havertz being that guy. And they just have injuries week in and week out. You can see in their last 3 games, they've scored 1 goal. They've played 3 good teams, and now they're in a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, so 4-way tie for 3rd place right now at 19 points. 4 behind City, 9 behind Liverpool. Look, it's not clear waters there, though, because, look, the next week or 2 could really define a lot with where Arsenal is going to be. They've hit a really bad run of form. They haven't won in the last 4 matches in the league. And objectively, look at 12th. Look at even United in 13th with 15th points, right? So they're going to now face Forest. We talked about this recently. Forest and West Ham, which is not going to be the easiest. So these are going to be huge matchups for them. And if Forest, you know, we look at a situation where if Forest win, Forest are going to jump up to, 22 points and definitely be in 3rd place. So there's a lot of movement going on with this table. Villa are right there. You know, Newcastle's right there. A lot of teams are right there, really neck and neck. A lot of these teams really seems to be like Liverpool and City are the only one really kind of consistently putting teams away. I mean, you look at Arsenal 5-4-2. So I'm curious to see what he's going to say. What is his motive behind saying it's just actually all over? I do probably feel like they did better last season than they will do this season. They actually did. I don't love Arsenal. A lot of that comes down to the fans, but the way they played last season, I thought it was so impressive. The way that City kept getting win after win, and Arsenal was just going out doing a business every week, no matter what happened. The previous week, they were going and getting their win. They did so well at the end of the season. I thought they were going to crack at some point, and they just kept winning. So I was really impressed with that. These people, by the way, before we get any more into this, these people saying Arteta out are nuts to me. Like, what this guy has done for this club in terms of where they're at now, I mean, you could argue at times maybe the style isn't what you necessarily want to see. It's not the most attacking style ever, but boy, are they getting results. Boy, are they getting results. I mean, it's crazy. All right, let's see what he's going to say.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to That's Football. Chelsea won, Arsenal won, and I think that's game over for Arsenal in the title race. What a weekend it's been for Liverpool. 5 points clear of Manchester City, 9 points clear of Arsenal and Chelsea. The title is not Liverpool's yet, but I think it's time to rule out Arsenal. I don't think Chelsea were ever in it. And some will say, well, look, there's still a lot of football to be played and 9-point gaps can be broken down. Obviously, Arsenal have potentially got some very winnable games, and they do look a lot better with Odegaard back. But with Saka hobbling off, the bigger thing for me is really just how brilliant the Premier League is. It's so good at the moment.
It is really good. Odegaard back is massive. And just to add in a note here, Arsenal remind me of myself when I play FIFA. They had 2 leads in these 2 massive games that they dropped points with Liverpool and Chelsea. And so for them, it's about, can they get the attacking production now with Odegaard back to get a little bit of separation, right? Because they keep having these narrow 1-goal leads, and it's going to be really tough to do that, especially with Marcus about to allude to. The level in the Premier League this year is it's crazy. The middle table teams, like these teams like Forest and Brighton, and the way those teams are playing against big teams, we used to see these level teams go into a shell when they would play a City or Liverpool, freak out. No, they're giving it to these teams this year. It's crazy.
I mean, it's ridiculous how tight it is from like 10th to 3rd. But that is something that's going to cause Arsenal problems, because the competitive league makes an 8-point gap or a 9-point gap bigger than it actually is. Because to close 9 points on Liverpool, they've got to lose 3, you've got to win 3, and that just puts you level. So how are you going to do that? In this league, I don't see a team at the moment that's going to start pounding out 10 runs in a row. Yeah, so I said it a couple of weeks ago. People said it was a bit premature, but
I said
I
that.
look at Arsenal this season.
He's
I
looking
don't fall
stronger
into
with
the
this
trap
take, though.
that, oh, Arteta's not this and Arsenal are not that. I think it's a really competitive league. I think the sending offs, the Odegaard, that's been problematic for them. And I think Liverpool have just had a very, very good start to the season. Man City is struggling as well. But Liverpool have just been this team that's just come up from sort of nowhere under Slot. No one knew to expect that. And they now lead the way and they're looking very, very good. I still think Man City are in the title race, but I genuinely think it's a two-horse race and I don't think Arsenal are in it. They just don't look like a team. I think the big message would be, some people were saying you can't rule Arsenal out because of the last 2 years, but this is this year. Do that Arsenal team look like a team that's going to close a 9-point gap on anybody? And the honest answer is no. Even today, they put the hard work in to get 1-0. And from that point, I'm thinking they have to win today just to give themselves a chance.
Yeah.
They get the goal, they work really hard, and then they more or less instantly concede. Now, there's nothing they can do about Neto's goal, but that just feels to me like Arsenal this year. It's just not flowing as well as it maybe was last year. They're not getting the break. You know, maybe last season Neto hits that 10 yards over the bar and Arsenal just grow in confidence and shut it down. There's still a lot to like about Arsenal, but as I said a couple of weeks ago, I feel they've dropped too many points. As for Chelsea, look, Chelsea are a work in progress, and I think they were poor against United last week at Old Trafford, and I think today they deserved a point. But they're still a work in progress. For them, if they can get top four, they'll be very happy, and they're still very, very, in a very good position for that.
I would like to see Palmer play a little better in these more important games, and I think his point is really valid about when you actually deep dive in. Maybe there's some truth to it's over for Arsenal because, like he's saying, like Liverpool, in my opinion, are such a neck and neck ahead of all these other teams. They're going to have to lose 3 games, and it's not like Arsenal have to win 3 games against Ipswich, who just beat Spurs. They're going to have to beat these really, really solid Premier League teams 3 times to even just get level. And it's a good point because that's really not easy to do. And if you just think about it right now, Liverpool 1, City 2, that third team, it's not as close. Like, I felt like Arsenal were very close to City last year, and Liverpool were kind of there until the end, right? And then the last 5 games. But, yeah, I don't disagree. I don't think there's that third team right now that looks like, okay, this team is going to go and get you a result every week for the next 10 weeks.
And also, I think they'll look at a lot of the games they've played recently and say, we're still staying in a good position with regards to the race for top 4. But as I said this before in the week, when I look at that Arsenal side, Havertz just, for me, isn't it for 90 minutes. That's just not scary enough. I know a lot of Arsenal fans like him. I'm not saying
most of the time you need a great striker, all right, to do these titles, to win these titles. You need someone actually in that position. Amazing. There are exceptions. Like, we look at Liverpool's team right now. They have an exception because I do think Darwin is good. I think Jota's good. They're not great. What they have is they have 2 great wingers, right? They have Diaz and Salah, and it's not only that Diaz and Salah are wingers, they are very attacking-minded wingers. And I know you're saying, what do you mean they're attacking-minded? Every winger is attacking. Not necessarily. Some of these wingers are more dribble-heavy, pass-first wingers. Salah and Diaz, to me, are just lethal, bro. And that's where it works that they have a good striker, not a great striker. You look at Arsenal. Is Saka world-class? Probably not. Salah's world-class to me, right? Saka's very good, and he's better than good. He's very good. The other side, crickets, right? And so then you look at Havertz. I've never been a huge Havertz fan. I think Havertz was really a luxury for enjoying what the German system was able to do for him at times. But even then, a lot of people wanted to see Füllkrug, playing instead of Havertz. So I think there's some legitimacy to what he is saying.
He's a bad player. I just think that if Arsenal, in these types of games, against Newcastle last week, against Inter in midweek, Arsenal have scored 1 goal in 3 games. And I think Havertz has probably played nearly every minute in every one of those games. No one's doubting he's a good player, but it ain't rocket science to say that Arsenal need a proper striker that can get them goals in games like this and, make them more of a threat. And say what you like about Jackson, but he does stretch defences.
Jackson is very good.
I thought Cole Palmer was very quiet today as well. I think
He was
Chelsea
quiet. I like Jackson a lot.
can only walk out of that game and take a point. And I think Arsenal can as well. I think I said before the game, a score draw, but ultimately the real thing is Arsenal probably needed to gamble a little bit more in the final few minutes, because a point for them really, I think Arsenal are looking at what's going on around them now. I don't think they're looking up at first place. I think for Arsenal, they will get top 4, but that's what they sort of need to look at now. It's about what they do over the next few weeks to sort of steer them clear of that very condensed pack behind them, because with the likes of Fulham and Villa and Chelsea, you don't want to sort of get stuck into that, because that's very chaotic. So I think Arsenal really title, they won't be giving up on it. Of course you shouldn't do. It's only November. It's not even the middle of November yet.
Yep.
But when I look at a 9-point gap and I look at the way Arsenal have been playing, to close a 9-point gap, you basically just got to go and win a load of games between now and May. And to do that, look, football is very simple. It's very easy to break down. For the people who are saying it's only 9 points and it's only November, to break that down, you've basically got to say, well, we're going to go and beat Man City. We're going to go and beat Liverpool. We're going to beat Chelsea. We're going to beat Spurs. We're going to beat Villa. You're going to win all your big games between now and May and not drop points to the likes of Fulham and Brentford and Brighton. And I just don't think Arsenal at the moment look like they're a team that's going to go and beat all those other teams to close that gap, because that's what you've got to do.
It's true, though.
You can't close the gap.
He's not wrong, because if you look at how many games they played, they only won, what, 5 out of 11, 5 out of 12 so far?
Man City to do. So you've got to close that gap by beating the teams above you and all around you. And I just don't see that from Arsenal. I don't think that makes them a bad team. I think what's actually happened is that Arsenal have had a drop-off for various reasons. Man City have had a drop-off for various reasons, and Liverpool have just gone into this situation and gone, bang.
They've taken advantage big time.
Sort of caught everyone else. Because if you look at the league table, as it stands at the moment, if Liverpool weren't in that race and weren't doing what they were doing,
Arsenal would be
you'd
in
have
the title
Man
race.
City top of the league with 23 and Arsenal 4 points behind them. And you'd be worried, actually, that Man City are unattainable for Arsenal, but it's still only 4 points. But Liverpool out there with 28, 1 loss, 1 draw, 9 wins. They are the team to beat at the moment. I think Arsenal will be fine. I think they'll comfortably get 3rd place, if I'm being honest, maybe even 2nd if Man City continue, but I just don't put them in a title race. Chelsea,
I think, to that point, Arsenal need to be very careful that they don't continue this run of form. They need to start turning these into wins, because, as he said, they do not want to get caught in that pack and lower in that pack, because what's going to happen in those games then is that to the other team is going to be seeing that game as way more winnable than they're playing a giant. So I think it's very important that they get back ahead of that pack, because right now they're starting to fall into it a little bit. This whole, like, what is it, 14th, 15th place all the way to 3rd place is like 5 points. They don't want to get stuck in there. So I think that's going to be very important, even for them to be getting a top 3 finish. They need to take care of that.
See, look, bigger games to come for them, in the sense of they need to get back onto what they were doing before. Next few games for them are Leicester at home, Leicester away, Chelsea, Villa at home, Southampton away, and then Spurs away. So those 3 or 4 games, Chelsea need to try and get back to what they were doing before United and before the Arsenal game, which is actually winning games. But look, for game of the week, it wasn't. I think Brighton, Man City was, and I think it's been a very good weekend for Liverpool. But look, I get it. I'm sure there'll be people saying you can't say in November that Arsenal are out of a title race, but I think you can. And I think it comes down to they've massively missed Odegaard, and Chelsea was always going to be a difficult place to go where they needed to win. But I still think Arsenal's problem is, in games like this, with or without Odegaard, where do the goals come from?
Yes.
Because they just don't create enough chances. And I think still Arsenal's biggest threat is set pieces.
It is. 100%. 100%. And it's going to be so hard for them to win over. They need to try to go get Isak or Victor. One of those two. Ooh. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know. Everybody keeps saying bring Victor to United. I don't want to see Victor go to United. I don't want to see that. Because I think too many players go there, it goes to shit. And I don't even think they have a good team. I think Victor could... I mean, you imagine Odegaard saucing this guy some fucking balls. Jeez. He could be demonic there, right? So, All right, man. Let me know what you guys think. I actually really agree with Mark. I think everything he said in this video was pretty true. I'm on board for this. He was ahead of the curve. He said this 2 weeks ago. He felt like Arsenal was out. He's right. I think they're not going to win. I think when you break it down like he said, it's just too far, the gap. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in another one. Peace.